Back in the days when I had just graduated from college, I used to think farmers can't do research. I was skeptical that the farmers who are poor don't have resources, they have never been to school, can comprehend difficult principles that are involved in research. One day, when I was a new member of a research team for Bunda College, I was assigned an activity to go and communicate the research process in which farmers would be involved in a soil health research. Immediately, my skepticism came to light because I questioned, how can the poor illiterate farmers be involved in research? Why can't we just, as researchers, go and do research, generate solutions, and give these to farmers for them to adopt? However, I was obliged to do this assignment. So, on our way to one of our villages that we were to engage in the research, a village called Kaunda, which is in the Kasungu district in the central region of Malawi, I was looking through the window and seeing poor women carrying handholds on their backs. I was asking myself, how could these women be involved in such a difficult thing? Is it necessary? I thought maybe we would just be wasting their time. So we arrived at Karunda village, and when we arrived there, we were greeted by women, men, young and elderly, who sat under the tree, and they were singing. Immediately they saw us. This brought a sense of excitement in me, but at the same time, I was still worried. How would I communicate the research principles and process to these poor farmers? When time came for me to communicate, to facilitate the activity, I began by asking the farmers, which one of you have ever been in research? And only a few raised their hands. And immediately I was worried because I said, here we go. These people don't know. And then I asked, of you who have done it, how have you done it? And then a lady who introduced herself as Miriam Rosa, she indicated that we have been involved in research, and we understand that research is about testing new ideas. We test new ideas by comparing with a control. Immediately I was surprised because I didn't expect a farmer to know a control. She went on to explain that research involves data collection, which we analyzed. However, you people, you don't share the results, which was something a challenge to me. I was shocked and challenged. Miriam went on to explain the research process to all other farmers, and the exercise went very well. The other farmers understood the research process. At that time, it just triggered the process of me beginning to understand that farmers can be involved in research. Since then, I have been one of the people working with farmers in doing research. And Miriam has been one of our champions in terms of conducting research with farmers. We have now even started sharing results with farmers, and we come to understand that indeed farmers can understand the results and they can be involved in the research process. That's how my journey to change towards engaging farmers in research process has been. Thank you.
I am Lloyd Kaimbe, was born on 3rd October 1965 in a family of 5 children. I am the fourth born, the family of 3 girls and 2 boys. Unfortunately, I lost my only brother in 2011. Not only that, my wife got minor stroke in 2019 and she is unable to walk up to now, even speaking. Both my father and my mother were smallholder farmers, apart from own goats and cattle. I went to school up to primary level but could not proceed for secondary education because I lost all my parents. I am married with 6 children, 5 girls and 1 son. As of now, I am a farm support agent, as I said, lead farmer in my own area. I advise the farmers how to use botanic pesticides. The relationship with farmers and researchers. There is sound relationship between me and the farmers as well as researchers. In the beginning, it was difficult and different because I had to change my mindset, which was not easy. I was first approached by the researchers from the University of Luana in 2013. It all began by legume seed multiplication, where pest management was required. It was then where the use of herbicides was introduced and I was the only farmer. Over the years, the number of participating farmers kept increasing. As I write today, there are about 70 farmers participating in this program. Participating in this program has greatly changed my life and status. In the beginning, I did not know how to collect data. All data was collected by researchers themselves. But now I am able to collect some data if and when asked to do so. I have also made interaction with several researchers and even international organizations such as FRN. Locally, I have learned to manage my fellow farmers, thereby learning leadership skills. Sometimes I make good sales as people who do not like synthetic chemicals approach me for agricultural products. The main challenging issue is processing and packaging of the herbs since they are bulky. Although it is not simple, I am working towards securing a motorized machine for the production and processing of the herbicides. Family responsibilities which are beyond my income earnings is a major problem for me not to achieve my vision. The other problem is the sickness of my wife, who was attacked by a minor stroke and is unable to walk and speak. This is my end of my story, part 3, Lisa.
Muy buenas tardes, buenos días. Mi nombre es María Quispe. Yo estoy acá en La Paz, Bolivia, en Sudamérica, y ahora voy a contarles una historia muy cortita acerca de la vivencia que tenemos acá. Bueno, miren, yo me formé como ingeniera agrónoma en la Universidad Mayor de San Andrés. La educación que recibí fue más en conocimientos para poder transferir a los agricultores, ¿no? Entonces, bajo esta experiencia, en mi tercer trabajo, justamente al segundo día de trabajo, me tocó vivir una experiencia muy interesante que ha marcado mi vida profesional. Y es que justamente mi responsable inmediato superior me pidió dar una capacitación muy técnica a un grupo de agricultores en métodos de análisis de suelos, ¿no? Con materiales de laboratorio y todo eso. Cuando llegué a la comunidad, me encontré con este grupo y empecé a dar la capacitación que me habían encomendado. Pero al terminar vi unos rostros con unos signos de interrogación y en ese momento dije que estoy haciendo exactamente. Entonces decidí hablar con ellos haciendo uso del idioma local, el aymara. Este idioma me lo habían enseñado mis abuelos y realmente ha sido un recurso valioso para dialogar con este grupo de agricultores. Entonces, en este diálogo es que ellos me comentaron que la capacitación era altamente técnica y lo que ellos requerían, si bien era una capacitación, eran temas muy prácticos que fueran aplicables a su contexto productivo. Y lo que yo les había dado en ese momento no lo era aún. Entonces, esta experiencia que tuve en mi ámbito laboral y más la de mis otros colegas que también tuvieron experiencias similares, decidimos como equipo de trabajo cambiar de modelo de trabajo, que hasta ese momento era asistencialista. Decidimos transformar este proceso a un proceso de desarrollo de capacidades, donde los agricultores más bien pudieran trabajar de forma colaborativa con los técnicos de nuestra institución para poder desarrollar conocimientos, metodologías, opciones tecnológicas. Este proceso de colaboración fuimos trabajándolo de forma conjunta con estos agricultores y decidimos llamarlo el modelo Yapuchiri. Este modelo significa que los agricultores tienen la capacidad de poder investigar en sus ámbitos locales para poder validar, de poder calibrar las opciones tecnológicas de mejor forma a sus contextos. Entonces, este proceso ha sido muy valioso para todos nosotros, a la institución a la que represento, Prosuco, para hacer una nueva forma de trabajo, una nueva forma de colaboración, y hemos avanzado con el apoyo justamente de otros pares y otros colegas en poder ampliar este modelo, complementándolo con lo que son el enfoque de las redes de agricultores e investigadores. Entonces, esto está permitiendo a la institución y a los agricultores avanzar en este proceso para generar opciones tecnológicas mucho más viables a sus contextos locales. Muchas gracias.
Hello, everyone. My name is Daniso Mkweu from Malawi. I was born in the rural district of Mzimba in the northern part of the country. And I was born to purely subsistent farmers. So my parents were purely into subsistent farming. Growing up was not all that rosy in that my parents had many children. And so for them to support all of us, it was rather difficult, to an extent that when I was in high school, because there were several of my fellow siblings also in high school at that time, it was difficult for my parents to support all of us at the same time. And so I made a decision to withdraw first so that I pave way for my siblings to finish first. And then I went to finish later on. I went to college, and in college I studied agricultural extension, because agriculture at that point was already my passion. And so I had no choice but to study agriculture. After my studies in college, I joined the Ministry of Agriculture in the government of Malawi, where I had a short stint. And then in 2014, I joined the Lirongo University of Agriculture and Natural Resources Extension Department. At the time when I was joining the department, McKnight Foundation, through the Collaborative Crop Research Program, was just introducing the Farmer Research Network, a farmer-centered model then. And so I was immediately incorporated to be part of the team to test this farmer-centered model. In the first year that we were establishing farmer research groups in farmer research networks, something interesting happened. I remember we are in Mzimba district, in the northern part of the country. And so when we went to this particular village to establish a group, there was this farmer called Milton Nyirenda, who was nominated to be part of the group, but then some farmers and some local leaders were resisting to have him in the group, because at that time they thought he was so aggressive, he was so argumentative to an extent that they were scared that he could destroy the group, but also that he could scare the external actors like the university researchers away. And so they resisted to have him. But we encouraged them to try to maintain him in the group and see what will happen. After 1 year being in the group, the guy did very well. He really was a very active member of the group to an extent that fellow farmers were impressed with his work in the group, and they elected him as chairperson of the group. Since then, Milton has been a very instrumental member in the group, in that he has been so trusted in the group. And now that if we want to communicate with that group, we go through him. His livelihood has completely changed, in that whatever he learns from experimental plots implemented under FRINs, he utilizes it, he applies it in his main fields, and his livelihood has greatly improved, in that now he is able to get more yields, especially from the legumes. And in Malawi, the legumes fetch better prices. And so he gets more money from the sale of his legumes, to an extent that he has built a good house, iron sheet-roofed house. He is also diversifying his farming into livestock. From the proceeds of selling legumes, he has bought pigs. He has also bought goats, such that he has diversified his farming from crop production into livestock production now. This FRN has been so impactful in the life of this farmer. The FRN has not been so impactful in this farmer alone, but even to myself as a researcher, because I have also greatly benefited from my participation in the FRIs, in that my capacity has greatly improved. Through my participation in the FRIs, I have been exposed to so many short courses that have improved my capacity. Such courses include the capturing of short and simple videos through Android phones, the electronic data transfer through platforms such as Kobo Collect, but also my participation in the storytelling course. So this has greatly also improved my capacity in doing my extension work. So the FRIN as a model has been so impactful in both farmers and even researchers. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Caroline Piri, a master's student from Luana. I'm going to share you my story, and it's about how FRNs gave me a voice and how that has impacted my work as a researcher. Well, growing up, I've always been so loud that everywhere I go, people look at me and say, Carol, you're always loud and always on top of your voice. So that was me until May 2019, when I went for data collection exercise in Cheo. I went there with 3 colleagues of mine who had been to the field a couple of times. So they had already interacted with these farmers for quite a good number of times. So when I went to the field, I started thinking, I was like, when we get to the field, I'm definitely going to be the only person who has never interacted with these farmers. So I was like, where am I going to start from? And suddenly I got so anxious and scared, because I felt like I did not have a voice with these farmers, because I didn't have a basis for interacting with them. So I decided to make an agreement with myself. I was like, Carol, when we get to the field, you will learn to keep quiet and let your friends do the talking. You will just sit and listen and make observations. So that was it for me, and it was fine. I was going to focus on getting to know the farmers while my friends asked questions and all that. But when we got to the field, the farmers were very welcoming. They welcomed us with a lot of songs and dances, and it was difficult for me to just sit and listen. So I just jumped in and started dancing along and singing along, and it was very nice and interesting. And for a moment I felt like maybe it was just okay for me to just be loud and just be me. But after we finished the dances, we sat on a tree waiting for other farmers to join. And at that particular moment, it was like everything that I was thinking about in the car started coming to reality, because I saw farmers talking, other farmers coming to meet my colleagues, talking about different issues that they had talked about the previous time that my colleagues went to the field. And for a moment, I felt all alone. I felt voiceless because there was no one for me to talk to. And this was a new feeling for me, and I was not used to this feeling because I was used to being loud and all over the place. So I felt so uncomfortable, and I just wished the whole day ended so that I should go home. But when the data collection exercise began, it was interesting because the farmers were very open. They were willing to answer all the questions that they were asked, and this also gave me a chance to jump in at some point to ask a few questions about the different agroecological practices that they were doing, and also how they interact with other farmers as FRN members. So I felt like the farmers gave me a voice, because I came from a point where I felt so voiceless, a point where I felt I couldn't speak because I felt I did not have a basis for interacting with these farmers, to a point where the farmers gave me a voice to be able to open up and ask a few questions to them. So I felt like the farmers gave me a voice, and because of that, I also gave them a very good listening ear to everything that they were saying. So this also made the farmers to be able to open up and share more stories about what they were doing. And this was a learning process for me, because from that particular moment, I have learned that everywhere I go, every time I meet new farmers, I should speak less and let the farmers talk, so that I should be able to learn from them. And giving them a listening ear gives them the motivation to share more insights, and I learn more by listening to them and talking less. And that's my story. Thank you for listening.
Mi nombre es Lloyd Kaimbe, vivo en el departamento de Oruro, Bolivia. Durante mi niñez viví en el área rural. El primer idioma que aprendí, gracias a mis abuelos, fue el quechua, mi primer idioma nativo. Y cuando ingresé a la escuela, aprendí recién lo que es el español, ¿no? Mis papás, mis abuelos, teníamos como actividad principal lo que es la ganadería, la crianza de llama, la crianza de ovejas, y como parte de la agricultura, pues el cultivo de la papa, el cultivo de la quinoa y la cañagua, ¿no? Como los principales, ¿no? Pero en pequeñas extensiones, por supuesto. Estudié en el área rural, ¿no? Hasta mis 12 años. Y para seguir estudiando, pues tenías que irte a la ciudad, ¿no? Porque no había más, ¿no? No había más cursos superiores para poder continuar estudiando, ¿no? Y varios de mis compañeros pues han dejado de estudiar, ¿no? Lo han dejado ahí, quizás por falta de recursos económicos, podría ser, por falta de motivación quizás, podría ser también, pero yo recuerdo muy bien el consejo que me dio mi abuelo, ¿no? Siempre me dijo: hijo, tienes que estudiar, tienes que seguir estudiando, porque no quisiera que tú estés como yo. Y agradezco mucho el consejo que me dio, ¿no? Y lo tengo guardado y lo voy a recordar siempre. Y cuando me fui a la ciudad, pues para mí fue muy difícil desenvolverme, sobre todo socializarme con mis compañeros. Fue una etapa muy complicada para mí. Entonces, es así como pasó en los años, así muy rápido, ¿no? Y posteriormente, pues, egresé del colegio y tenía que definir mi futuro, qué iba a estudiar, ¿no? Tenía dos cosas en mente, ¿no? Dos profesiones en mente. Uno, estudiar lo que es el magisterio y otro, estudiar lo que es agronomía. Magisterio, ¿por qué? Porque a mí me gusta enseñar, me gusta compartir, ¿no? Lo que yo conozco, lo que yo sé. Y otro era agronomía. Y recordando un poco mi niñez, recordando un poco mis vivencias en el campo, pues dije, ¿por qué no agronomía? Y así es como estudié esta carrera muy noble, muy interesante. Y durante mi carrera, ¿no? Como estudiante de agronomía, pues un tema que me llamó mucho la atención pues fue hablar sobre el cambio climático, la producción agroecológica, la producción orgánica, biológica, como se llame. Pues recordando un poco, mis abuelos, mis papás siempre practicaron eso, o sea, siempre lo hicimos. Después de egresar de la carrera de agronomía, pues trabajé en varios proyectos y por los azares del trabajo, pues conocí esta institución como es Prosuco. Y cuando llegué a Prosuco, algo que me llamó la atención, pues fueron los yapuchiris. ¿Qué es un yapuchiri? Pues es un agricultor que practica una agricultura ecológica, que tiene vocación de servicio, que contribuye a la seguridad y soberanía alimentaria, por ejemplo, que cuida a la madre tierra. Y este concepto encajaba muy bien conmigo, o sea, me gustó. Estábamos en esa línea, podemos decir, ¿no? Y es así como llegué a este proyecto, como es el proyecto Yapuchiris 3, y para apoyar a los agricultores, a los investigadores en lo que es la elaboración de los bioinsumos, ¿no? Como son los abonos biofoliares, por ejemplo, ¿no? Apoyar de forma participativa en lo que es la producción agrícola a través de innovaciones con la red de agricultores investigadores. Sé que es una tarea difícil incursionar en esta etapa de lo que es la agricultura ecológica, sin depender de lo que son los humos, ¿no? Sin traer consecuencias, digamos, para la salud y el medio ambiente. Y en esa etapa pues tenemos que apoyar a los agricultores, ¿no? Para producir alimentos tratando de no alterar el medio ambiente. Es un reto tan grande que tenemos como agrónomos y hay que seguir adelante por una agricultura saludable y que sea sostenible.
Hey there, my name is Ipiano Mangomba and I would like to share my experience working with farmers. And this was in 2016 when I was doing my academic research. So I was linked to an agricultural extension development coordinator in my hometown. So he later recommended that I work with a certain group of farmers. So the first time I went to introduce myself there, I found 55 farmers in that group. So I introduced myself, and later we came up with a day that we should do the needs assessment. So during the needs assessment, it was discovered that these farmers wanted to work on pigeon pea crop. So in this pigeon pea crop, they said they were facing problems such as they had no knowledge about the agronomic practices of the crop, and also how to identify markets about the crop. and also how to add value, then how to store the crop. Then it was later discovered that the most pressing problems amongst the problem was lack of knowledge in recommended agricultural practices. So we came up with a work plan, and in that work plan there were 3 days training. After the training, we said, we agreed that we are going to have a demonstration plot, and so that whatever we've learned, we should put it in practice. So they said that was not a problem, because the demonstration plot was readily available. They are going to provide for it, so we are going to do the training, the demonstration. So the first day of the training, 53 farmers showed up. You know, as the first researcher, things went on well, and you know, with nervousness, and I was like, come on, things are working. So I really am putting things in practice now. So I was very excited that day. Then the following day of the training, guess what? Only 20 farmers showed up. Then I did the training, and then later I asked what was the problem. Then the chairperson told me that these farmers were expecting soft drinks during this period of time of the training, so you are not providing, and so it could be the reason why some other farmers have not showed up. I was depressed, you know, and I became very disappointed and very sad. And when I went back home, my mother noticed that I was not myself. Then she asked me what was going on, and I explained to her. Then she said, this time around you have to do what they need. So I'll give you some money, you can top up with yours, and then you provide the soft drink that they want. I was like, okay, yes, that happened. And when I went there, as expected, you know, on the third day of the training, 3 farmers showed up. And yes, I did the training, and with them we did the training together. You know, I was the facilitator and the trainer, of course. And then the time we were at the end, I told them we are going to have soft drinks, and these farmers were, I could see their faces like brightened up, and I was like, okay. Then as we were going towards the demonstration plot, we met some of the farmers along the way. They were like, you know, we were just busy. We'll join you. We'll join you. I was like, but I knew something. I knew that the news had reached them that they were going to have the drinks. So when we came back to the meeting place, you know, guess what? 64 farmers were there. I was like, what? Come on. Then after sharing the drinks, these farmers, they expressed, like the chairperson expressed that by doing that, I had respected their values. That's what they wanted me to do, and they assured me that things will work. You know, he said specifically that I really want good things to happen to them. So this was just a significant sign to them. So I was really, later on, when things went on perfectly, because sometimes I would be at school, but I could be given the reports that on the demonstration plot, all the farmers are attending to the plot, and they are doing it practically what we trained together. So I later realized that really, if you value farmers, you respect the values of the farmers, what they need, and you liaise with them in an open mind, you know, being flexible to tackle problems. They really coordinate with you, they really work with you with an open mind. They just want you to be flexible and be very understanding to them. So this has helped me up to now. I'm working with FRN farmers, and the experience is helping me a lot, and there is that good rapport up to now. So this is what I wanted to share. Thank you.